All right, today's topic is referrals. Everybody wants the almighty referral, unless you do like cold calling. The question is ask, right? You ask for referral. That's what everybody's ever taught you to do. But what's never talked about that much is how to ask. Most people, when they ask for referrals, they say something like, hey Aaron, you got any referrals for me? Or hey, can you refer me to somebody? And leave it at that. I gotta tell you, that's not gonna work. It's just flat out not gonna work. You gotta be a little bit more creative in how you do it. And the other thing then is, have you earned the right to ask? Have you done something spectacular that has wowed your client that they would want to talk to other people, colleagues, friends, former bosses about you? So if you don't think you've earned that right, change your style in what you're doing to service your client. And then the next thing is timing. The timing's always got to be right. You start doing business with somebody day one, and that might not be the right time. It might be, but it might not. It depends on what you have done and what has happened as a result. Is he wowed, saying this is the greatest thing I've ever seen? Or does he need to run, do the business with you, the whole complete transaction, and maybe sometimes he needs to see it 1 time, 3 times, 10 times before he's comfortable. So we're going to talk about, you can't force it. That was the other thing. You just can't force somebody to go talk to somebody else about you. So I'm going to give you a few different little ways that I've used over the years that put a little bit of humor in it, make it a little more personal. So here I'll go through a few of them. This one's not that humor by any means, but try not to use the word referrals for one thing. If you were me, Mr. Dealer, how would you go about getting more biz? How would you go about getting more business? How would you do it if you were me? See what he says. He might just tell you a different way to make approach and what topics to talk about, but he might say, hey, maybe I can help you out. The next one, who do you know in? And what I'm going to get at is being very specific. You have to help them think. If you just say, hey, do you got any referrals for me? Or do you know anybody that'd be interested in what I'm doing for you? That's not specific enough. Sometimes you got to say exactly, do you know if your dealer is a Toyota dealer in Cincinnati, Ohio? Hey, do you know anybody in Indianapolis that's a Toyota dealer that would benefit from this? Very specific. Not this big brush of things. All right, here we go. A little fun here. All right, here's the script. Hey, let me ask you something. How many calls do you get a week from sales reps like me bragging about how great they are and their product and blah, blah, blah? I'm kind of stroking them. I'm taking them along this path. I want him to say a big fat number. 10, 20, 30, I don't care what it is. The bigger the better. Wow. What do you do with all those calls? I hang up on them, or I tell them I ain't got time for them. I want him to get going that route with me. And then I want to go, man, it sucks to be me. And he's going to be like, what do you mean? Because you just changed his whole pattern. I'm going to say, yeah, that's what I feel all the time. It doesn't matter how good or great or whatever I've done for my current clients. When I get on the phone and just do that good old cold calling, trying to get some more business, I'm just like everybody that you're hanging up on. And can I tell you something? It sucks to be me. You want to trade shoes? You want to be me for a little while? And they're going to be like, hell no. I would never do that. And I was like, I know. Feel my pain? Feel my pain? You see, I'm taking him down a path. I want him to understand the struggles I go through on a daily basis. If I feel like this guy likes me, I'm trying to get him to understand who, what, when, where, of what I'm going through every day. Just give me a little bit of help, just a little bit. So I'm going to say, yeah, you guys are brutal, man. You guys are brutal. Again, I'm taking him down this path. And then I'm going to say, and I'll ask you something. I don't want you to sell anybody. I don't want you to do anything. But can you think of one person that you can give a quick phone call to and just say, hey guys, hey Mr. So-and-so, I got this guy that his name's Matt Baker. He's been doing some really good things for me. When he calls you, take his call. Give him 10 minutes. Give him 10 minutes and I think you're going to find it's worth it. There's a reason why I'm minimizing what I want my client to say to the person. I'm telling him what to say. Because if I tell him, hey, tell him all the things that we've done, that's overwhelming. He isn't going to want to do it. It's too much of a phone call. It's too draining. But here's what I know. If I tell him to just say, hey, just take my phone call, I got news for you guys. When he gets on the phone, he calls the other deal. Hey, listen, Jimmy, I want you to talk to this guy, Matt Baker. He's been doing a lot of work for me. He's been some really good stuff. He's not going to stop there. I got news for you. It's going to be 15, 20, 30 minutes later of him just nonstop talking about what you're doing for them. Why? They can't help themselves. They can't help themselves but brag. But I took the pressure off him to make that initial step of that phone call and then just let him go because he's a salesperson too. Any business owner is a salesperson as well. So just trust me that make it simple for them to say yes and to take action. Okay, here's another one. Again, a little bit of sense of humor using in this stuff. And I'll say no, and I'll look right at a client of mine, or I'll be on the phone and I'll be very stern in my voice. I'll say, hey John, I don't care how many times or how often you do it or how many people you talk to. If you ever talk to anybody good about me and tell them they should do business with me, I promise you, I won't get mad at you. And just pause. I guarantee you, your client is going to start laughing. He's going to start laughing and saying, that's funny. Humor. You can get a lot further in life by putting a little bit of humor in your sales tactics. And when I say, I promise you, I will not get mad at you. And then just pause. It takes them a second, so be patient, and then they bust out laughing. And they say, all right, Matty, I'll make a few phone calls, and you watch in the next week or so. So all of a sudden, you're going to get a random phone call from some dealer that said, hey, John told me to give you a call. Another thing is, try things like making a bet with your client. Hey, listen, I'll bet you that if we do this, whatever it is your company's doing, and we achieve a certain result or whatever, if we do this, all I'm asking you to do is call one client. See, the thing is on referrals, you don't just want a name and a phone number. What you really want is for them to make that initial phone call. So when you call that referred person, they are expecting your call, they've already been juiced up, and it's a layup. That's the key, and not enough people do that. So then I'll say, hey, if I get this done, if I do this, I want you to call 1. Please don't call 10. I promise me, you will not call 10. The other thing is a lot of times people ask, when they're asking for referrals, they say, hey, can you give me 5 people or 10 people, blah, 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 blah. You're putting too much pressure on your client. Just ask for 1 or 2. You'll get more. But I'd rather have 1 or 2 solid clients that maybe he's called or talked to than 10 names and phone numbers of people he's acquaintance with. I'm going to get a lot further. Another way, just another little line here is that fair to say no way you'll ever tell someone to do business with me? Is that fair to say? Again, I'm using a little bit of pendulum, just a little bit. You got to be able to act it out. Hey, John, is that fair to say we've been doing the business for a year or 6 months or 2 years? Is it fair to say that there is absolutely no way in the world you're ever going to call somebody to do business with me? Is that accurate? Am I understanding this? Sometimes you just got to nudge them a little bit. Some of these you won't be comfortable with, some of them you'll like. And you got to know your client, which ones you can use with who. Oh, and here's another one. Again, trying to take the pressure off your client. That's what this is about. If you know anyone that could benefit from me, whatever it is that you do for dealers, or for if you're working at a dealership of what, how the customer reacted to your sales process with them, I promise I won't tell them who gave me their number. So sometimes people, they'd be willing to give you a referral, but they don't want the other person to know that they actually were the ones that gave up. I don't know why, insecurity, I don't know why. Maybe they think you do a good job, but they don't want other people to know. Whatever it is. Don't question all that. Just realize sometimes it's added pressure that you're putting on your client. And so just take it off. So again, here's a few ways. There's plenty more. Try them out if you like them, and get more referrals. Make your life a little bit easier when you're selling. Charge forward today.